Okay, so this is our grammar and writing notebook, and this is what it should look like on the inside. When you first turn to your first page, you should have your table of contents. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and pause the video and write this down. The first thing you should have written down is the race strategy, which we already did in class. Then you should go on to what is an analytical essay, hat-mat introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. So like I said, you can go ahead and pause to write that in. So your first page should look like this, which is the race strategy. So you should have that title at the top if you don't already. If you are missing this flip book on page 1, then what you're going to do is you're just going to write what RACE stands for, which is restate, answer, cite, explain. So don't fret if you don't have your flip book, you'll just write those notes in instead. Going on to the second page, it should be titled, What is an Analytical Essay? So you should go ahead and pause the video and write that at the top. Now, an analytical essay is written to carefully examine and evaluate a work of literature by discussing its basic components. So you're basically looking at what makes the writing what it is. So there's a couple of things that you can analyze, which right here is underneath where it says what to analyze. You can analyze the theme, which is a recurring idea in the story, setting, time and place in the story, plot, sequence of main events, character, a person, animal, or personified object, point of view, which is the way the story is told, tone, the author's attitude, mood, the way the setting and atmosphere feel, and imagery, which is using the 5 senses. Go ahead, pause the video to write that down. Okay, your third page should be hat-mat introduction. Go ahead and write that at the top. Again, this is on page 3. Your fourth page should be body paragraph, so write that at the top. This is page 4. You can pause the video to do that. Your fifth page should say conclusion. And again, that is on page 5. So you should go ahead and write that in. Okay, so going back to our hat-mat page, you should have got this packet right here. It has everything you need for this notebook. So the first page is the hat-mat page, as you can see. So you want to color your hat-mat the following colors that you see here. You need to color in those colors. You can color the side too because you're not writing on it. So H should be red, A should be blue, T should be green, M should be orange, A again should be purple, and then the T at the bottom should be yellow. You need to make sure you color them that color. Now you're going to cut around this, just like I'm showing you. You're cutting around the edges. And you're also going to cut along the lines to form tabs where the white part is. If you colored it, that's fine, but you're just cutting up to only where I have the white part. So when you're done, it should look like this. See how I have the tabs and they fold up, but it's not completely separated where the colored part is, because we're going to be gluing down that part. So you should go ahead and fold back all of your tabs, so then that way you can see only the part that you need to glue. So right here, I'm folding back all of my tabs so that I can see just the part that I need to glue. Now, this paper right here goes along with the hat-mat page. You should be cutting on all the dotted lines. And you're going to be gluing them to the back of the tabs. So you're cutting on the dotted lines and gluing them on the back of the tabs. So right here you can see that I've cut out the first one, the hook that matches the hook tab, and I glued it in. So let me show you how I did that. So I have my author piece, and I'm just putting some glue on the back of it now that I have it cut out. And I'm really carefully making sure it fits and putting it right on the back of that tab. It's going to take you a little while, but just be patient with it. Okay, so now I have the author on the back of the author tab. So now I'm going to take my T for title, and I'll do the same thing all the way down. Okay, so now I have all of my tabs glued in. So the backs of all the tabs are glued in. Don't worry about writing what the blanks are. We're going to be doing that in class. And now, so if you're wondering, this is actually the order. So if you need to go back and see the order of them to make sure they match, go ahead and do that. And now we're going to actually glue it in. So we're going to only put glue on the back where it says hat mat. So you're going to take your glue stick, you're going to fold that over, and you're only going to put glue on the back of where it says hat mat. So I'm putting glue there, and then I'm going to very carefully put it so that it still fits without anything sticking out of the composition notebook. And I'm going to press that down so that way it's down. So in the end, you should have where the tabs open, but it stays attached to the page. Now we're not done with this page just yet. There's one more step. In this blank space right here, we're actually going to be gluing another piece of paper. So you have this small piece of paper that starts with, can color be something more than just a smear of pigment? So you can see the paper's a little too big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the edges of it, so then that way it will fit. So go ahead and do that. Now I've already trimmed the edges and I have glued it in, so you're going to just be gluing it in right under. Eventually in class we're going to be coloring this in, but please do not do it on your own at home. So it should look like that when it's done. Okay, moving on to the next page, we have body paragraph. So for body paragraph, you are going to be using the page that starts with topic sentence. You're also going to be using the page that says from the very beginning of the novel. So you're going to color it the exact same way that we did the hat mat, starting with red and going down. You're also going to be cutting along the edges of it, just like we did with the hat mat, and cutting the tabs, just like we did with hat mat. So go ahead and do that, and this is what it should look like when you're done. I already colored them all the same way as hat mat, and I'm not coloring the white part because I'll be writing on it, so you do not want to color that white part. My tabs are all going to be flipping. I've cut them all out. And so now what I'm going to do is just put some glue on the back, and I'm going to glue that in, just like I did with the hat mat. So I went ahead and glued it in, and I did the same thing as I did with the hat mat page, which is I glued in the page that says from the very beginning of the novel, Gatsby is seen staring off into a green light. So you should glue that down so that the tabs fold over it. Now moving on to our conclusion page. For the conclusion page, you're going to need the 3R worksheet, as well as the paper that says, do not restate your thesis word for word, and finally the paper that says, in conclusion. So we're going to do the same thing. We're coloring the 3Rs the same colors as hat mat. So the first 3 colors. You can color this side as well. You want to also cut the edges and cut the tabs. So I have it colored, my red, blue, and green. I also have it glued in, which you should know how to do. And I also have my tabs cut. Now I went ahead and I glued in, just like hat mat, the backs of the tabs. So you should be gluing it in just like this. So if you're confused of the order, make sure you pause the video to see the order. So just like hat mat, I'm putting glue, and then I'm really carefully